You don't have a discipline problem. You have a pattern. You wake up with a plan. You tell yourself today will be different. This time, you will actually follow through. This time, you will stay focused. This time, you will not quit halfway. For a moment, you believe it. You sit down. You open your laptop. You prepare to start. You feel in control. Then something small happens. You check your phone, just for a second. That second turns into a minute. That minute turns into 10, then 20, then 30. And suddenly, you're no longer working. You're just sitting there, scrolling, watching, avoiding, delaying. You know exactly what you should be doing. And you are not doing it, not because you don't care, not because you are incapable, but because something inside you is resisting. Something inside you is pulling you away from what matters. Be honest. How many times has this happened to you? How many times have you started strong, only to slowly disappear from your own goals? You tell yourself you will start later. You say you just need the right mood. You convince yourself that tomorrow will be better, that tomorrow you will be more disciplined, more focused, more ready. But tomorrow comes and nothing changes. You repeat the same cycle. You start, you stop, you distract yourself, you reset, again and again and again. And slowly, something worse begins to happen. You start losing trust in yourself, not in big dramatic moments, in small ones, quiet decisions, moments no one else sees. You promise yourself something, and you break it. You tell yourself you will do it, and you don't. At first, it feels small, but over time, it builds. And without realizing it, you begin to believe something dangerous. You begin to believe that you cannot rely on yourself, that maybe you are just not disciplined, that maybe you are just not built for more. And that is where the real damage begins. Because self-sabotage does not look like failure. It looks like normal behavior. It looks like checking your phone. It looks like taking a break. It looks like waiting for the right moment. It feels harmless. It feels justified. But it is not harmless. It is a loop, a pattern your mind has learned and continues to repeat. A pattern that keeps you exactly where you are. You do not notice it while it is happening, because it feels like you. It feels like your personality, your habits, your way of doing things. But what if it is not you? What if the reason you feel stuck is not because you lack discipline? What if your mind has been trained to protect you from discomfort, to avoid pressure, to avoid change, to avoid becoming someone new? Even if it means holding you back, even if it means keeping you small, you're not stuck. You are repeating, and until you see that clearly, nothing will change. In this video, you're going to understand why you keep sabotaging yourself. You're going to see the hidden fear behind your actions, and you're going to learn how to break this pattern step by step. Not with motivation, not with temporary hype, but with awareness and control. Because once you truly see what is happening inside your mind, you will not be able to ignore it anymore. And that is where everything starts to change. Chapter 1. The pattern you keep repeating. You don't fail because you are lazy. You don't fail because you lack ability. You fail because of a quiet loop inside your mind, one that runs automatically, often without your awareness. A part of your brain is wired to protect you, to keep you safe from discomfort, from pressure, from the unfamiliar. And in doing so, it holds you back from every step of progress you could make. You wake up determined. You tell yourself today will be different. You sit at your desk. You open your laptop. You start. For a moment, you feel capable. You feel in control. You feel focused. What? Then something small happens. A notification, a fleeting thought, a feeling of doubt. And suddenly, your focus drifts. 5 minutes pass, then 10, then 30. Before you know it, you are no longer working. You are scrolling. You are delaying. You are avoiding. You tell yourself it's okay. You'll start later. You just need the right mood. Tomorrow will be better. But tomorrow comes, and the pattern repeats. You start again. You stop again. You delay again. You distract yourself again. Over time, these small moments accumulate. They compound. They shape your habits, your energy, your focus, and eventually, your identity. You don't notice it because it feels normal. It feels like you. And that is the trick. This loop convinces you that quitting, delaying, and avoiding are part of who you are. But they are not. They are behaviors, patterns, and responses that have been reinforced over time, and behaviors can be changed. The first step is awareness. You have to see the loop for what it is. Every time you hesitate, avoid, or get distracted, it is not an isolated failure. It is a symptom of a system. Your subconscious operates to maintain comfort and safety. The longer you ignore it, the stronger it becomes. Every just 5 more minutes reinforces the loop. Every small delay strengthens the habit. The more often you allow it to run unchecked, the more automatic it becomes. And because it feels natural, it is nearly invisible until it has controlled you for long enough that it begins to define your days. Recognition alone is not enough. Awareness must be coupled with observation. When you feel the urge to delay, to avoid, to be distracted, pause. Take a breath. Notice the feeling. Is it fear, anxiety, overwhelm, or is it simply the lure of comfort? Naming it removes its power. Awareness creates a space between impulse and action. That gap is where choice resides. Even one deliberate step in that moment, no matter how small, begins to break the loop. It rewires the brain slowly, signaling that you can respond differently. Each choice, however minor, chips away at the old pattern. The problem is not the goal. It is not the task. The problem is how you respond. You act according to your habits, not your intentions. Until you recognize this, your progress will always be limited by the patterns you unconsciously reinforce every day. Once you see this clearly, you can begin making different choices. You can take small steps that, repeated consistently, reshape the loop into a new pattern. A pattern aligned with focus, follow-through, and deliberate progress. Change does not happen overnight. It is not the result of one motivational video or one intense session of effort. It is the result of repeated awareness, deliberate action, and patience. You begin with small steps, taken consistently. You notice when the mind pulls you back into old habits and choose differently. Each intentional action builds momentum. Each repeated choice integrates into your identity. Over time, you stop being at the mercy of the automatic impulses that once ruled your day. You are not broken. You are predictable. And predictability can be changed. Recognition gives you clarity. Action gives you power. Every deliberate choice weakens the old loop and strengthens the new one. Slowly, the moments of hesitation, distraction, and avoidance decrease. Slowly, the pattern of deliberate focus and action grows. Gradually, you begin to trust yourself. Gradually, you reclaim control over your time, your energy, and your focus. Notice one moment today where you might typically drift or delay. Pause. Name the feeling. Take one intentional step toward your goal, no matter how small. Repeat this daily. Notice how each deliberate action weakens the loop. Over time, these actions transform into automatic responses. You become someone who follows through, someone who acts even when the mind resists, someone who grows consistently, someone who does not sabotage their own progress. Remember, self-sabotage is not failure. It is a predictable pattern. Patterns can be rewritten. Recognition, observation, deliberate action, and repetition are your tools. You are not failing because you cannot succeed. You are failing because you have allowed a loop to control your behavior. And loops can be changed. Once you see it clearly and act on it consistently, nothing can keep you trapped in the same cycle. You are capable of focus. You are capable of follow-through. You are capable of growth. You are capable of becoming the person who does not stop when it matters most. Chapter 2. The hidden fear of success. You think you fear failure. The truth is deeper. You fear what happens if you succeed. Success brings attention, responsibility, expectations. It forces you to become someone unfamiliar, someone visible, someone accountable. When you approach it, hesitation strikes. You hold back. You delay. You distract yourself. It is subtle, quiet, almost invisible. But it stops you every single time. Your brain prioritizes safety over growth. It doesn't care about potential or talent. You tell yourself, I'm not ready. Or, I'll do it tomorrow. Readiness is an illusion. Tomorrow rarely comes as you imagine. The fear hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as caution, prudence, rationality. You may call it being careful. You may call it being realistic. But deep down, it is fear. Fear of exposure. Responsibility. Change. Growth. Every time you avoid meaningful action, the loop repeats. Each hesitation strengthens it. Each delay reinforces the habit. The first step is naming it. Call it what it is you are afraid to succeed. Say it aloud. Write it down. Own it. Recognition creates distance. Distance gives choice. Once you see it, you can act despite it. Take one deliberate step forward. Not a leap. A small step, enough to signal change. Repeat daily. Every day you act despite the fear, it loses power. These steps accumulate. They chip away at the loop that has controlled you. It will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will resist. That resistance is proof it works. Fear exists to protect old habits and comfort zones. Every time you act anyway, you signal to yourself. You signal that growth matters more than comfort. You must observe the thoughts that justify avoidance. I can't handle this. I'm not ready. I'll do it later. These thoughts feel true, but they are lies. They are the voice of comfort trying to keep you safe. They are the invisible chains that hold your potential hostage. Awareness alone is not enough. Action is required. Begin with small, deliberate choices. A single task completed. A single commitment honored. One action toward your goal. Repeat daily. The habit of acting despite fear rewires the loop. Over time, distractions lose power. Hesitation weakens. Delays shorten. You begin to trust yourself. You reclaim control over decisions, energy, and focus. The fear will not vanish overnight. It takes repeated conscious choices. Each choice is a signal. Each action is proof to your brain that discomfort does not equal danger. You are capable of focus. You are capable of follow-through. You are capable of growth. Notice today one moment where you might normally hesitate. Pause. Name the feeling. Take one intentional step. Do this consistently. Observe how each choice weakens the old loop. Notice how confidence grows. Notice how hesitation fades. Your mind is not the enemy. It is simply following old programming. With awareness and action, you rewrite the program. You teach yourself to respond differently. Patterns are like grooves in a track. Every time you repeat the same behavior, you deepen the groove. Every time you act differently, you create a new path. It starts small, a single step, a choice made when your mind says, stay safe. Repeated, persisted, strengthened. Soon, the new path becomes automatic. The loop loses dominance. You begin to act in alignment with your goals without thinking. The hidden fear of success is universal. Almost everyone experiences it in some form. What separates those who move forward from those who stagnate is not talent. It is whether they act despite the fear. Pay attention to your internal dialogue. Notice when you justify delay, avoidance, or distraction. Name it. See it. Break it. Each time you act, even slightly, you signal that you are capable. You teach yourself to respond differently. Over time, small actions accumulate into habits. Habits accumulate into identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes your life. This is how the hidden fear loses power. This is how you reclaim control. This is how you take ownership of your actions and your growth. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to follow through consistently. You begin to create momentum. Each deliberate choice builds confidence. Each step taken despite fear strengthens the loop of growth. Do not underestimate small actions. They accumulate silently. They are more powerful than motivation alone. This is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. It is fragile. This is about consistency, deliberate action, awareness, repetition. Eventually, you will notice the difference. You will act without hesitation. You will resist distractions automatically. You will take control in moments that once held you back. Self-sabotage is not failure. It is a pattern. And patterns can be rewritten. Recognition, observation, deliberate action, repetition. These are your tools. You are not failing because you cannot succeed. You are failing because you allow the loop to control your behavior. Loops can be changed. Once you act consistently despite the fear, nothing can trap you. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim focus. You reclaim confidence. You begin to grow. You begin to follow through. You begin to become the person who does not stop when it matters most. Each step, however small, chips away at the old loop. Each day you act despite fear, the loop loses power. Each choice reinforces capability. You are capable of more than you imagine. You are capable of becoming someone new. You are capable of overcoming the hidden fear that has held you back. Do not wait for the right moment. Do not wait for the right mood. Start acting today. Notice a single moment where you would normally hesitate. Pause. Name the feeling. Take one intentional step. Repeat daily. Observe the results. See how the hidden fear loses control over time. Watch your confidence grow. Watch hesitation fade. The hidden fear of success is powerful, but your awareness and deliberate action are stronger. This is how growth happens. This is how you reclaim your life. This is how you finally take control. Chapter 3. Your identity is pulling you back. You are not inconsistent. You are predictable. Your identity is a force stronger than your goals. It decides what you actually do, moment by moment. Even when you set ambitious targets, your old self resists. It pulls you toward familiar patterns. you start a task with energy. Then a small voice whispers, doubt. You think, this is not who I am. And almost immediately, you stop. Your mind prefers the known over the unknown. It prefers comfort over growth. You may call it procrastination. You may call it distraction, but deep down, it is identity defending itself. Your current self wants stability. It wants reassurance. It wants to feel safe, even if it costs progress. Every action you take reinforces identity. Every habit you repeat shapes who you are. If you repeatedly quit, avoid, or delay, you strengthen the identity of a quitter. If you repeatedly act despite fear, you strengthen the identity of someone who follows through. Recognition alone does not change your behavior. Action aligned with intention is required. Start with small, deliberate choices. Even minor actions matter when repeated consistently. Your brain learns patterns. It rewires itself based on what you do, not what you think. You may feel resistance. You may feel discomfort. That is evidence you're challenging your old identity. It is evidence that change is occurring. Do not underestimate small wins. They create confidence. They create momentum. They signal to your mind that growth is safe. Pause when you notice hesitation. Ask yourself, am I acting like the person I want to be? Notice the answer. Act anyway. Even one step matters. Then another. Then another. Consistency beats motivation. Consistency beats willpower. Consistency rewires identity. Your identity is not fixed. It is a collection of repeated choices, and choices can be changed. Each time you act despite the old habits, you create a new groove in your mind. Each time you take deliberate action, you weaken the grip of your old self. Your current identity will resist. It will create excuses, distractions, and delays. It will try to pull you back to comfort. Notice these moments. Observe without judgment, then act differently. The more you do this, the more your identity shifts. It becomes someone who follows through, someone who acts despite fear, someone who grows consistently. You cannot fake this change. It must be built through repeated action, small, deliberate steps every day. Each choice is a signal to your subconscious. Each action reinforces the identity you want to embody. Your mind wants to protect the old you. It fears the new you. But every step you take weakens that fear. Soon, the hesitation will lessen. The discomfort will become tolerable. Your decisions will align with your goals naturally. The hidden fear that once pulled you back will still appear, but you will act anyway. You will learn that discomfort is not danger, that challenge is not threat, that growth is not something to fear. This is how identity shifts. Not overnight, not instantly, but gradually, intentionally, with consistency. Notice one moment today when your old self would have stopped. Take action anyway. Even a small step is enough. The repetition is what changes identity. Over time, you will look back and see how far you have come. How many times you acted despite hesitation. How many times you chose growth over comfort. Your actions create the person you are becoming, not your intentions, not your wishes, your actions. The old identity will resist. Expect it. Work with it. Change it. Every deliberate choice reinforces the new self. Every repeated action weakens the old loops. Every day, you become more aligned with your goals. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to follow through naturally. You begin to take control of your growth. This is the power of identity. It is invisible, yet it determines everything you do. It is the hidden force pulling you back or propelling you forward. You have the choice. You can let it control you, or you can act deliberately and create a new identity. Each action, each small step, each decision to move forward is a vote for the person you are becoming. A vote against the limitations your mind has placed on you. Notice the patterns. Break them intentionally. Create the self you intend to be. This is how growth becomes inevitable. This is how you stop sabotaging yourself. This is how you step into your full potential. Chapter 4. The Comfort Trap. Comfort feels safe. It feels familiar. It feels easy. But comfort is deceptive. It is quiet. It is subtle. It does not announce that it is holding you back. You scroll through your phone instead of working. You say just 5 more minutes before starting a task. You check social media instead of focusing. It feels harmless. It feels justified. But comfort steals progress slowly, silently, day by day. You may believe you are relaxing. You may believe you are being cautious. But the truth is, you are reinforcing old patterns. Your mind prefers comfort because comfort is predictable. It doesn't trigger resistance. It doesn't create anxiety. It doesn't demand change. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, the loop strengthens. You stay small without realizing it. You avoid growth without noticing. The first step is awareness. Notice when you are choosing comfort instead of action. Name it. Call it what it is. Then act anyway. Take the step you would normally avoid. The small, uncomfortable step. Consistency matters more than size. One deliberate choice each day rewires the loop. Every step signals to your mind that discomfort does not equal danger. The comfort trap is everywhere. In your routines, your habits, your environment. It hides in work, in relationships, in daily decisions. You may start a task and stop midway because it feels uncomfortable. You may start learning something new and quit because it challenges your old self. You may aim for a goal, but distract yourself when it feels risky. Inspire. All of these moments are small, but together they create invisible chains. Chains that hold you back from potential you could reach. The next step is deliberate action. Each day, choose one task that feels slightly uncomfortable. Do not wait to feel motivated. Do not wait for the right moment. The moment is now. Action in discomfort builds tolerance. It trains your mind to accept growth. It teaches your brain that progress is safe. You will resist. Your mind will whisper excuses. It will try to convince you that safety is better than growth. Listen to it, acknowledge it, and act anyway. Each time you act despite resistance, you weaken the loop. The comfort trap is strongest when you are progressing. It appears as hesitation, procrastination, or self-doubt. It emerges exactly when you are about to succeed. That is why most people quit right before growth. The discomfort of change feels too real. The familiar feels safer. But comfort is a slow destroyer. It is the invisible enemy of achievement. Observe your habits. Notice when comfort is guiding your decisions. Take deliberate action. Do one thing each day that feels slightly uncomfortable. It may be small. It may be uncomfortable. It may even feel unnecessary, but it rewires your mind. It strengthens a new pattern. It shifts your identity. Over time, comfort loses control. Your decisions align more with your goals. You begin to act automatically in alignment with growth. You stop choosing comfort at the expense of potential. Your mind will try to return to old habits. Expect it. Resistance is part of the process. It is the test that proves you are changing. Action builds confidence. Consistency builds identity. Over time, you will trust yourself. You will follow through naturally. You will grow steadily. Notice one uncomfortable action you avoided today. Pause. Acknowledge it. Take the step anyway. Repeat daily. Observe the difference over weeks. Small actions lead to lasting change. Comfort does not disappear entirely. It will always try to pull you back. But repeated action strengthens your control. It builds resilience, focus, and momentum. You're capable of more than your comfort allows. Every deliberate step against ease builds strength. Every decision to act, despite resistance, rewires your identity. This is how growth becomes inevitable. You begin to see the difference. You act when it is uncomfortable. You resist distraction. You take control of your actions. The comfort trap cannot hold you forever, not if you choose growth repeatedly, not if you act deliberately. Self-discipline is built one uncomfortable choice at a time. Momentum grows through repeated action. Your mind adapts. Your habits strengthen. Your identity shifts towards someone who follows through consistently. Notice your comfort patterns. Break them intentionally. Act despite resistance. Do not wait for motivation or the perfect moment. Each small step adds up. Over days and weeks, you will notice a shift. Confidence replaces hesitation. Momentum replaces delay. Growth replaces stagnation. The comfort trap is real. It is subtle. It is strong. But repeated, deliberate action is stronger. You are not failing because you cannot succeed. You are failing because comfort has guided your choices, and comfort can be overcome. Act, repeat, persist. This is how you break free. This is how you move toward your potential. This is how you become the person who does not stop at the first sign of discomfort. Chapter 5. The voice that lies to you. Your mind is clever. It disguises fear as logic. It whispers excuses. It convinces you to delay. I'll start tomorrow. I'm not ready yet. I need more information. These statements feel true. They feel reasonable. But they are lies. They are your comfort speaking. They are your old patterns defending themselves. Every time you listen, you repeat the loop. Every time you follow the lie, you reinforce the old identity. This voice is strongest when you're about to act. It emerges as hesitation, procrastination, or doubt. You may feel restless. You may feel anxious. You may feel compelled to do anything but what matters. Notice it. Name it. Do not ignore it. The first step is awareness. Recognize when the voice speaks. Observe without judgment. The second step is choice. Pause. Breathe. Decide intentionally. You can act despite the lie. Even one small action signals to your mind that you are in control. Repetition is key. Each action, no matter how minor, rewires the loop. Your brain learns patterns. Each deliberate choice strengthens the new path. Each repeated action weakens the old groove. The voice will resist. It will argue, distract, and pull you back. Expect it. Resistance is the test that proves growth is happening. Your mind fears the unknown. It fears challenge. It fears change. That is why you feel stuck. That is why you procrastinate. That is why you sabotage yourself. The voice is not the truth. It is a defense mechanism. Its goal is to preserve comfort and safety. You must act anyway. Even small steps matter. Every step builds momentum. Notice the excuses today. Pick one action you would normally avoid. Take it anyway. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small actions repeated daily reshape identity. Over time, hesitation diminishes. Distraction loses power. Confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to follow through without second-guessing. You begin to act in alignment with your intentions. The lies your mind tells are powerful. They feel real. They feel urgent. They feel convincing. But action is stronger. Action disproves the lie. Action rewires identity. Each time you act despite the voice, you weaken it. Each time you delay, you strengthen it. Notice your internal dialogue. Observe the justifications. Question them. Act differently. The voice will always exist. It will never disappear completely. But it can lose power. Repeated, deliberate action is the key. When the voice appears, pause. Breathe. Name it. Take one intentional step anyway. Even a small action is enough to signal change. Momentum grows with repetition. Habit replaces fear. Confidence replaces doubt. You're capable of acting despite fear. You're capable of following through. You are capable of becoming someone new. Each deliberate choice shapes identity. Each repeated action strengthens the path toward growth. Each step is a vote for the person you want to be. Do not underestimate small wins. They accumulate silently. They compound into confidence, focus, and resilience. Your mind is not the enemy. It is simply following old programming. Awareness and deliberate action are the tools that give you control. Notice one hesitation today. Act anyway. Take one step toward what matters. Repeat tomorrow. Over weeks, this builds momentum. You will act naturally, without debate. You will follow through even when discomfort appears. The voice that once held you back will weaken. Your identity will shift. You will become someone who does not sabotage themselves. Self-sabotage is not failure. It is a pattern. Patterns can be rewritten. Act intentionally. Repeat consistently. Over time, hesitation fades. Confidence and growth become automatic. This is how you stop listening to lies. This is how you reclaim your time, energy, and focus. This is how you take control of your life. Notice one small moment you normally avoid. Pause. Act. Repeat. This is the practice that builds a self who follows through. Your mind will resist. Expect it. Act anyway. This is how growth is achieved. Every deliberate action, no matter how small, strengthens identity. Every repeated choice diminishes fear. Every day, you move closer to the person you intend to become. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for readiness. Action. In the presence of fear is the path to mastery. Repeated action is the way identity shifts. Deliberate action is how the loop is broken. Over time, the lies lose power. Your confidence grows. Your focus strengthens. Your ability to follow through becomes natural. The voice that once told you to delay, avoid, and hesitate becomes quieter, less convincing, less powerful. And you realize, finally, you're capable of moving forward consistently, regardless of fear. The voice that lies to you is patient. It waits for moments of weakness, of fatigue, of distraction. It exploits small delays. It thrives in routine. It grows stronger each time you obey it. But it can also be retrained. Your awareness alone begins the process. Awareness without action is observation. Awareness with action as transformation. Start with noticing. Notice when the voice speaks. Notice the thoughts it generates. Notice the hesitation it causes. Next, interrupt the pattern. Do not argue with it endlessly. Do not convince yourself mentally. Act, move, step forward. Each small action is a message to your subconscious. It signals that growth is safe. It signals that discomfort is tolerable. It signals that you can succeed without abandoning yourself. Over time, these messages accumulate. They reshape neural pathways. They change habitual responses. They create a new automatic pattern. You begin to recognize the difference between fear and opportunity. You learn to respond deliberately. You learn to act in alignment with your goals instead of reacting to impulses. Sometimes, the voice will escalate. It will exaggerate risk. It will create imagined consequences. It will fabricate reasons to stay in comfort. Do not be fooled. All of these justifications are part of the old loop. They are the echoes of the past, trying to maintain control. Your deliberate action is louder than the lies. Each step you take, despite discomfort, weakens the old pattern. Each time you ignore the excuses, the subconscious adapts. Soon, hesitation becomes brief. Distraction loses its grip. Your focus strengthens naturally. Your follow-through becomes effortless. You will start to notice moments where you would have delayed previously. Instead, you act. The shift is subtle at first, but accumulates into profound change. This is how you reclaim control. This is how you overcome the hidden fear that has silently held you back. This is how you train your mind to serve your goals rather than sabotage them. Do not underestimate repetition. One deliberate action, repeated over days, weeks, and months, rewrites identity. Your confidence grows. Your momentum builds. Your capacity to follow through solidifies. Eventually, you will realize that the voice is no longer dominant. It becomes a background signal, not a decision maker. You act despite it automatically. You grow steadily, consistently, intentionally. The lies do not disappear completely. They never truly go away, but their power diminishes with every conscious choice you make. You become someone who acts despite fear, someone who follows through even when discomfort is present, someone who does not allow hesitation to dictate their life. Each time you act, you strengthen the pattern of success. Each time you pause and choose deliberately, you weaken the old loop. Each time you act despite discomfort, you prove to yourself that growth is possible. The voice can whisper, argue, distract, or frighten. But with deliberate action, it loses its authority. You reclaim your attention. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim your confidence, and in that space, you finally step into the person you are capable of becoming all along. Chapter 6. Why you quit when things start working. You start making progress. You feel momentum building. Everything is moving in your favor. The path seems clear. Then something strange happens. You hesitate. You second-guess yourself. It is subtle. You stop pushing. You delay. This is when the hidden fear strikes. It does not appear at the start. It emerges when success feels real. Your mind senses change. It senses responsibility. It senses exposure. It tells you to pause. It tells you to wait. It tells you to retreat. You call it doubt. You call it hesitation. You call it being cautious. But deep down, it is fear. Fear of change, fear of growth, fear of becoming someone unfamiliar. You are moving toward progress, and your brain pulled you back. Quietly, consistently, persistently. Every time this happens, the old loop strengthens. Every time you stop, the habit reinforces itself. The pattern is subtle. It looks like common sense. It feels justified. But it is sabotage. Awareness is the first step. You must recognize this moment for what it is. Notice the hesitation. Name the fear. Then act. Take one step forward despite it. It does not have to be huge. Even a small action signals to your mind that growth is safe. Resistance will appear. Excuses will whisper. Comfort will feel tempting. Do not yield. The discomfort you feel is a sign that change is happening. It is proof that you are challenging your old identity. Your current self wants familiarity. It wants predictable outcomes. It wants to remain comfortable, even at the cost of potential. The moment you act anyway, you weaken the loop. You teach your brain a new response. You build a pattern of persistence, not avoidance. This is how progress becomes sustainable. Not through motivation, not through energy, but through repeated, deliberate action. Notice today one area where you would normally quit when things get hard. Pause. Observe the feeling, then take a step anyway. Action, repeated, rewires the subconscious. Each time you act despite fear, hesitation loses power. Confidence grows. Focus strengthens. The hidden fear of success is natural. It exists in everyone who aims high. What matters is whether you let it control you. Each time you choose action, you strengthen a new identity. Each time you yield, you reinforce the old self. The more deliberate choices you make, the more automatic they become. Soon, hesitation becomes rare. Momentum becomes normal. You begin trusting your decisions. You begin following through without debate. You begin creating lasting progress. Discomfort will still appear. Fear will still whisper. Your brain will still resist. Expect it. Act anyway. Every small victory compounds. Every intentional step builds confidence. Every moment you act despite fear strengthens your capacity. Patterns are powerful. They govern behavior silently. You can break them. You can replace them. Action creates change. Momentum creates habit. Habit shapes identity. Identity determines results. Do not underestimate small wins. They accumulate silently. They form the foundation for consistent growth. You begin to notice moments you would have quit in the past. Now you act. The pattern shifts. The hidden fear loses control. You will begin to see measurable change. Tasks you once delayed now get completed. Challenges you avoided now get faced. Opportunities you ignored now get seized. You begin building a self that acts consistently. A self that does not retreat when discomfort appears. A self that moves forward even when fear whispers. This is how you stop quitting when things start working. This is how you break the hidden loops that have held you back. This is how you reclaim control of your growth. Each step you take rewrites your pattern. Each deliberate action reinforces identity. Each repeated choice teaches your brain a new truth. Progress is safe. Success is achievable. Growth is expected. Your mind is not the enemy. It is merely following old programming. Awareness and action are your tools. Act deliberately. Repeat consistently. Over time, hesitation fades. Confidence grows. Momentum strengthens. You are capable of moving forward consistently. You are capable of following through. You are capable of becoming the person who achieves what they intend. Every time you act despite fear, the loop weakens. Every time you delay, it strengthens. Choose action. Choose growth. Choose progress. The fear will never completely disappear. It will always appear when you step into new territory. But it can be controlled, it can be managed, it can be weakened. Step after step, day after day. Deliberate action becomes habit. Habit becomes identity. Identity becomes growth. You will no longer quit when things start working. You will move forward. You will persist. You will grow. This is the power of deliberate action against hidden fear. This is the secret to turning momentum into lasting results. This is how you reclaim control of your life. Chapter 7. Breaking the pattern. You have been repeating loops for years. Small moments of hesitation, delay, and avoidance have compounded into patterns. These patterns feel normal. They feel safe. They feel like part of who you are. But they are not you. They are habits, reinforced over time, running in the background. The first step to breaking them is awareness. Notice every time your mind convinces you to stop, delay, or avoid. Observe without judgment. Do not shame yourself for past choices. Simply notice. Then, act deliberately. Take the step you would normally avoid. Even one small action signals to your brain that the old loop is no longer absolute. It creates a crack in the pattern, a space where change can happen. Consistency matters more than size. Repeated small actions accumulate into lasting change. Your mind will resist, it will argue, it will fabricate reasons to retreat. Expect this. Resistance is proof that growth is happening. The hidden fear that has controlled your decisions thrives in comfort. It survives on avoidance. It survives on hesitation. It survives on delay. Each time you act despite it, the fear loses power. Each time you follow through, you strengthen your new identity. Each repeated choice rewires your mind. Patterns govern your life silently. They shape what you do before you even realize it. They determine whether you follow through or quit. Breaking them requires deliberate intervention. It requires conscious choice in moments that previously went automatic. Notice today one action you would normally delay. Pause, breathe, take the step anyway. Over time, these small victories compound. Distractions weaken, hesitation diminishes, confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to act without overthinking. You begin to follow through naturally. The old loops will try to return. They will sneak back in subtle ways. A thought, a feeling, a justification. Do not fall for it. Pause. Observe. Act anyway. Every deliberate action teaches your mind a new response. Every choice you make despite discomfort is a vote for the person you want to become. Every repeated action creates new neural pathways. Do not expect overnight change. The old loops have been reinforced for years. Rewiring takes time. Persistence matters more than intensity. Small, consistent actions are more powerful than rare bursts of effort. Your subconscious learns patterns, not intentions. Thinking about change is not enough. Action is required. Start with one deliberate choice. Do it fully. Notice how it feels. Reflect briefly. Then repeat. The next day, repeat again. And the day after that. Momentum builds quietly. Confidence grows invisibly. Your capacity to follow through strengthens. This is how habits become automatic. This is how identity shifts. This is how the old loops are replaced with new, stronger ones. Expect discomfort. Expect fear. Expect resistance. That is a sign of progress. That is a sign your mind is adapting. Do not retreat. Do not justify avoidance. Move forward. Every time you resist the old patterns, you weaken their grip. Every time you act deliberately, you reinforce your new self. Your identity is not fixed. It is built by repeated actions. Each choice shapes who you are. Small steps compound into habits. Habits compound into identity. Identity composes the life you lead. Notice today one area where you usually quit, hesitate, or delay. Act deliberately. Even a tiny step matters. Consistency over months rewires your brain. Distractions lose authority. Hesitation fades naturally. Momentum builds automatically. Every repeated action signals to your subconscious that growth is safe. It teaches your mind that discomfort does not equal danger. It proves that you can act despite fear. The loops you have lived with for years will try to assert themselves. They will produce excuses. They will create fear. They will attempt to pull you back into old habits. This is normal. It is expected. It is evidence that change is occurring. Do not resist the process. Do not fear the discomfort. Embrace deliberate action. Every action builds momentum. Every small choice strengthens new habits. Every repetition rewires identity. This is how change becomes inevitable. This is how self-sabotage is replaced with self-mastery. This is how the old loops are broken. Do not underestimate small repeated actions. They accumulate silently. They compound over weeks, months, and years. You begin to notice that hesitation no longer controls you. You begin to act without overthinking. You begin to trust your own momentum. The hidden fears will persist. The voice that whispers doubt will still appear. Your mind will continue to test you, but you will respond differently. You will act despite fear. You will follow through consistently. This is how identity shifts. This is how patterns break. This is how you reclaim control over your life. Every deliberate action, no matter how small, is a vote. A vote for the person you are becoming. A vote against the patterns that have held you back. Over time, the new patterns dominate. Your confidence grows. Your focus strengthens. Your ability to act and follow through becomes automatic. You will no longer quit when things get difficult. You will no longer hesitate when opportunity appears. You will no longer let fear dictate your actions. Action, repeated over time, rewires the brain. Momentum builds naturally. Identity aligns with intention. Growth becomes inevitable. Notice one hesitation today. Act anyway. Repeat consistently. Observe the results. The loops that once controlled you lose their power. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim your focus. You reclaim control over your life. You're capable of more than you realize. You're capable of following through consistently. You are capable of becoming someone who acts despite fear. Every small action strengthens identity. Every repeated step diminishes fear. Every deliberate choice builds momentum. The voice that once pulled you back now loses authority. You step forward, consistently. You grow. You persist. You succeed. Chapter 8. Becoming someone who doesn't self-sabotage. You have learned to notice the patterns that hold you back. You have practiced acting despite fear. Now it is time to step fully into the person who does not stop. This is the stage where awareness and action combine to reshape identity. You are not defined by past hesitation. You are defined by the choices you make consistently. Every deliberate action reinforces your new self. Every repeated step creates a new neural pathway. Every choice strengthens the identity you want to embody. Discomfort will still appear. Fear will still whisper. Your mind will continue to resist. Expect this. It is part of the process. It proves that change is real. Do not yield. Act anyway. Even small steps matter. The consistency of deliberate action builds momentum. Momentum becomes habit. Habit forms identity. You begin to notice the difference. You act without hesitation. You follow through naturally. Old loops may attempt to pull you back. They may create doubt, anxiety, or distraction. Recognize them. Act differently. Each time you act, you send a signal to your subconscious. You teach it that growth is safe. You teach it that discomfort does not equal danger. You teach it that deliberate action leads to results. Over time, hesitation diminishes. Distraction loses power. Confidence strengthens. Focus becomes automatic. Your identity shifts gradually but inevitably. You are no longer the person who quits when things get hard. You are the person who acts even when fear is present. Small actions build trust. Trust builds momentum. Momentum shapes behavior. The habits you create define the person you become. Do not underestimate the cumulative effect of repeated, deliberate steps. Notice a moment today where hesitation would normally win. Pause. Observe the feeling. Act anyway. Repeated action rewires identity. Repeated action diminishes fear. Repeated action strengthens focus. You will notice subtle changes first, then larger shifts. Eventually, action becomes instinctive. Follow-through becomes natural. This is how you stop self-sabotaging. This is how you reclaim control. This is how you become the person you intended to be. Your mind is not your enemy. It is simply following old patterns. Awareness and deliberate action give you the power to overwrite those patterns. Every time you take deliberate action, the old loops weaken. Every repeated choice strengthens the new identity. Every day you act despite fear, you grow stronger. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The moment to act is now. The person who does not self-sabotage acts consistently. They follow through. They face discomfort. They take control. Each action is a vote for who you want to become. Each step reshapes identity. Each repeated choice strengthens momentum. You will encounter resistance. You will encounter fear. You will encounter distraction. This is proof that the loop is still alive. It is proof that change is real. It is proof that you are growing. Do not yield. Do not allow excuses to govern your decisions. Act deliberately. Act consistently. Every deliberate step signals to your brain that growth is possible. Every small victory reinforces identity. Every repeated choice builds momentum. Over weeks and months, these deliberate actions compound. The patterns that once held you back lose control. Confidence grows. Focus strengthens. Follow-through becomes automatic. You become someone who does not quit, someone who persists, someone who moves forward despite fear. This is how you stop self-sabotage. This is how you reclaim energy, attention, and focus. This is how you build lasting momentum toward your goals. Each time you act despite discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Each repeated action teaches your mind a new truth. You are not bound by old loops. You are free to grow. Notice today a single moment where hesitation appears. Pause. Observe. Act. Repeat consistently. The cumulative effect is unstoppable. The loops lose their power. Your identity aligns with growth. Your life begins to reflect your true potential. This is the path to becoming someone who does not self-sabotage. This is the path to consistent follow-through. This is the path to growth momentum, and mastery. Every deliberate action matters. Every repeated step matters. Every day you choose action, you strengthen the person you are becoming. The hidden fears remain, but their influence diminishes. Your momentum builds. Your confidence solidifies. Your focus becomes instinctive. This is how identity shifts. This is how behavior transforms. This is how you stop holding yourself back. You're capable of consistent action. You're capable of following through. You're capable of becoming the person who does not quit. Every step, no matter how small, compounds. Every day, momentum grows. Every repeated choice reinforces the new self. Act deliberately. Repeat consistently. Persist. This is how you break the loops of self-sabotage. This is how you reclaim control of your life. This is how you finally grow into your potential. You are not broken. You are not incapable. You have patterns. You have loops. You have hidden fears. Now you know them. Now you see them. Now you understand them. Awareness is power. Deliberate action is freedom. You can choose differently. You can act despite fear. You can follow through consistently. Every small choice matters. Every step forward reinforces the new pattern. Every repeated action reshapes identity. The loops you have lived with for years will try to return. Expect hesitation. Expect distraction. Expect resistance. Do not yield. Act anyway. Each deliberate step weakens the old loops. Each repeated choice strengthens your new self. You begin to notice subtle changes first, then larger shifts. Tasks you once delayed now get completed. Challenges you avoided now get faced. Opportunities you ignored now get seized. You start trusting yourself. You start following through naturally. You start creating momentum. Small, consistent actions build habit. Habit builds identity. Identity shapes the life you lead. The hidden fears of success, of discomfort, of change will persist. But your deliberate action has more power than them. Notice moments where hesitation arises today. Pause. Observe. Take one intentional step. Repeat tomorrow. Repeat the day after. Over weeks and months, these choices compound. Confidence grows. Focus strengthens. Momentum becomes automatic. You are capable of more than you imagine. You are capable of following through consistently. You are capable of becoming the person who acts despite fear. Each deliberate step is a vote for who you want to become. Each repeated action strengthens the new self. Each day you act despite fear, you grow stronger. Self-sabotage is not failure. It is a pattern. Patterns can be rewritten, loops can be broken, habits can be changed. You are the one who chooses. You are the one who acts. You are the one who builds momentum. Do not wait for motivation. Do not wait for inspiration. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The moment is now. Take action. Take the next step. Do it consistently. Your growth is inevitable when you act deliberately every day. Your confidence will grow. Your focus will strengthen. Your follow-through will become instinctive. The mind that once held you back is learning. It is adapting. It is recognizing that you are no longer bound by old loops. You are reclaiming your energy. You are reclaiming your attention. You are reclaiming control. Step into the person who does not self-sabotage. Step into the identity of consistency. Step into the version of yourself that acts regardless of fear. Every deliberate action matters. Every repeated choice compounds. Every day, you strengthen your potential. Notice the small victories. Celebrate the momentum. trust the process. Stay consistent. Your future is determined by the choices you make today, not by circumstances, not by comfort. By deliberate action, repeated consistently, day after day, you are capable of focus. You are capable of follow-through. You are capable of growth. You are capable of becoming the person you are always meant to be. Now, take what you have learned. Act on it. Step forward. Move intentionally. Your mind may resist. Your comfort will push back. Your old habits will try to reclaim control. Act anyway. Repeat consistently. Persist relentlessly. This is how you break free from self-sabotage. This is how you build lasting momentum. This is how you reclaim your life. You're capable of growth beyond what you have imagined. You are capable of progress beyond what you have experienced. You are capable of becoming the person who does not quit. Start now. Act now. Every step you take shapes the person you will become tomorrow. The loops, the hesitation, the fear, they do not control you anymore. You do. You have the power. You have the tools. You have the choice. And the life you want is waiting on the other side of action. Take it, claim it, own it.